Hey guys, so in being locked in and having time on my hands, I decided to create this story based on a redneck ninja named Samurai Cletus Jack. And in writing it, I decided to use as many movie titles, songs, bands, um, and books and authors as possible. So I figured I am going to share with you. I hope you have a good laugh over this and this entertains you on this journey. So I will begin. So Redneck Ninja, his tagline is "Getting her done in the calmest way possible." There, buds. Once upon a time in Hollywood, Redneck Ninja Samurai Cletus Jack lived on 1984 Mulholland Drive, where he had an animal farm. It was a funny farm where they all lived by the Da Vinci Code, and he had a pond named Mist of Avalon, where there was a lot of big fish. Everyone that lives on this farm has to wait for Godot to check them in. He has a lover that lies between them named Charles Dickens, and the love child Oliver, who has a twist that steals mementos for his book of life. He has a mighty duck as a pet, which he named Lassie. He has a pet dog named Garfield and a cat that Stevens happened to name Clifford. Samurai Cletus has the gift to become ravenous when he sees injustices and will be the avenger of the client. The Assassin's Creed he took when he was the Prince of Persia was with the group called Black Hawk Down. He was a kingsman above all else, and he will be a ghostbuster of the hobbits that think they can hide their shining. On the farm, he has a yellow brick road that leads through the doors to a stairway to heaven. He lives close to the highway of hell and has bells to notify him if stranger things are coming, because he has no sympathy for the devil. In his panic room, he has a wonder wall to write his 10 things I hate about you concerning the 4th of July. He has the longest yard, which he has a go-kart track, which he Happy Gilmore'd it. Ride or die around the world in 80 days, motherfucker. Once in the Battle of Dunkirk, he received an exit wound from the evil mercenary group called the Devil's Rejects, where they drew their power from the houses of 1,000 corpses. Growing up, he had a lot of fast times at Richmond High with his two friends, Cheech and Chong, who eventually went up in smoke from the backdraft of the mighty wind. It was a best in showing the Dark City, which is when he became a drunken master of the craft. He felt his eyes were wide shut in gaped fear, and truly felt his brain candy of the skull was a descend into Alice of Wonderlands. Even his Willy Wonka had a fatal attraction, especially knowing what he did last summer, and he screamed. He was in a league of his own at this time, and far from being an extraordinary gentleman, and was lost. His master of puppetry helped him ride the lightning into a labyrinth of a limitless matrix source code that fueled his prophecy of becoming the good fella that he was. He has sex in the city at the beach and enjoys going to the boondocks to enjoy reading the Hellraiser's profiles and decide their clear and present danger. The Manchurian Candidate is his biggest enemy, but everyone in the streets call him the Candyman. It was a nightmare on Elm Street because of the Silence of the Lambs, which becomes a manhunter out there named Red Dragon, who has traveled across the universe, which has been a Rocky Horror show because of the Repo Man, who leaves people on cliffhangers. He is an Ace Ventura, especially when nature calls. This little light of his, it can really shine. He has a sidekick, Harry Potter, who carries a Philosopher's Stone and is the Lord of the Rings of Fire. Fargo, his training day at the Rock, where he had the venom which makes you insane in the membrane. Yes, insane in the brain. It was all just a yellow submarine going into the void, climbing onto Jacob's ladder where Edward Scissorhands brings you to the abyss of what field of dreams may come. His brave Iron Man, untamed Lionheart, is the legend of A Christmas Story for all his Major League die-hard fans. The game he plays is straight out of Compton, especially when he needed to get payback. His Beverly Hill cop friends Frasier, Smallville, and the almost famous Trailer Park Boys laugh about the story of how they met his mother, or as they say, the Big Bang Theory. All the small things that wake me up when September ends sometimes makes the outer world a zombie land, feeling like a demolition man, judging, dreading, being the man with 1,000 faces and the crypt keeper of swamp things that only the shadow knows. I have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in one hand and Dark Waters in the other. Ironic, don't you think? The quickening gladiator life is a pulp fiction that even Troy's story cannot compare to the life of Brian and the cell of the Gall of the Wild that only the day after tomorrow that Rolling Stones help us be the proclaimers that walk the line of 500 miles, so the temptations rise against the rage against the machine. Yes, I know I'm disturbed, and I'm not down with this sickness, and this amazing grace I have can be very serendipitous, and sometimes falling for a woman with a red dragon tattoo, using the Force for a Star Wall that treks, which will feel grown up to those big space balls. Baby, when it's cold outside, I will create a winter wonderland on the House of Notting Hill with those Mickey blue eyes to create our own Wizard of Oz. Friday Night Lights and those Varsity Blues, living near the girl next door who is the graduate of the Criminal Minds, which on any given Sunday takes a Ferris Bueller's Day Off of Law and Order and have an Animal House party with my 27-hour party monsters that saw Abbey Road Hulk out on Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas that slaps you like a goon, never returning to those last Boy Scout golden years. When you had your pet crow, and when it was always sunny in Philadelphia. The devil advocates the beautiful mind that Spartacus is into the Friday of the 13th, which the parent traps Harry and the neighbors Henderson. Now I can clearly see now that the island of King Kong, which celebrates the Night of the Living Dead, the crying game of the ghost dog, the way of the samurai, truly lies on this island of Dr. Moreau. Smoker's cough, not corona. This apocalypse now gives springtime for Hitler, the producers of the Book of Mormon, the program of unnecessary roughness, the replacement of the commitments to UHF. We beat it as we are the champions, and well, people hide under the stairs because they meet the fucker in the Zoolander of problems, our inner child, which in the end of days ghost our way of doing the right thing, and American History X on the Goonies of our little big league. Our little giants become the watchmen and time cops, the state and main outbreak of this Con Air. The psycho angry birds can be seen from the rear window of our darkest hours that missed the stand of Clouty with a chance of meatballs that let go the outsiders of Mad Max's warriors only to stay alive, to outcold the gods of Bullsworth. The anchorman of the dead president's Jersey Shore's the Twilight Zone in Night Court with King Arthur, which now, for something completely different, gives you the meaning of life, which up and quickly gone in 60 seconds, which leaves us dazed and confused. Hedwig, my best friend's girl, has an angry inch, which is fast and furious and is the legend of Falls Tonight. Tonight we live with bullets in butterfly wings in 1979. That no doubt was the greatest day that no lithium could make it smell like live teen spirit, which would make every rose have a thorn, and can make you hot for teacher because her hot legs and her fat bottom girls called Mork and Mindy. Dexter Logan in X-Men Last Stand on being a cable guy in the House of Wax always avoids the nightmare before the Black Christmas, which in his eyes is a natural lampoon of the calling into the babes of Toyland, which Backstreet is back again, no diggity. I swear, let's dance and get jiggy with it, because I've got 99 problems, but a naked gun isn't one of them. So eat it, just dance, and rape me by putting your back into it and pour some sugar on me. Tequila! An arachnophobia can lead to a Temple of Doom and a Fantastic Four of Rudolph, like Mike, the Predator, and the twins, howling at the guardians of the galaxy with the insidious sixth sense. They are raiders of the lost ark and hook you into the highway of black velvet. Sometimes George of the Jungle plays Jumanji in a house of cards with his best friend that he met as passenger 57. This is the end, because I can't touch it, you sexy thing, because whatever happens with Friends with Benefits on Arlington Road stays. Downtown in Abbey is the sound of silence. Bring it on like the saint of Brokeback Mountain. We never want to bring misery to Miracles on 34th Street or powder to aliens. Interstellar space jams are what is eating Gilbert's grape. Doctor Strange knows what women really want, the dark crystal of species who really framed Roger Rabbit as the king and I, Leah, over the top of Rambo Ratatouille. That's amore. Oh, Tora, 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 you're deep in my Space Nine and plan for outer space as Ed would carry on the Deadpool cocoons of the butterfly effect, which Player One hunts for the red October of Halloween. Now Eastbound and Down shows the signs of the cross with an avatar bullet that near the crossroads with the boys on the side. The 4 rooms of Romeo and Juliet says anything, so money talks to the evil dead, and the 16 candles they burn to mask the musketeers of paying it forward to dodge the ball of the boiler room, the last king of Scotland. Let's turn the page to breaking bad habits and bringing back to the future to days of future past, which Equalizer 246 and 2 at Camp Nowhere, where it is as good as it gets with the Space Troopers of Doom. If an Event Horizons on Gilligan's Island with the Cube, we will sing in the rain as the double impact of Serenity in Contagion on Skull Island as we look to the Mars of attack. Space invaders must die. We, the beautiful people, Pearl, harbor our love of the game, and even the Bruce Almighty can't snatch this lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels, as I will short-circuit his Karate Kid Last Crusade pattern, which is always lost in translation. People are strange as Lost Boys, Resident Evil. Donnie Darko thinks his stepmother is an alien, and the net calls him maybe a conehead. But in Wayne's World, he is just a bad boy with wheels in the sky falling down like a hangover of great expectations. We are all damaged people that under pressure to the mummy that overloads 7 needful things to Constantine to the point that breaks speed to the golden child who carries a green lantern that now you can see. We drink Beetlejuice as our born identity, conjuring snakes on a plane as an omen to the monster squad, as Bobby's underworld siege desperado, setting from dusk till dawn in the greatest story ever told. of mice and men, we are the watcher of where the wild things are to be the compass of the express train as the dark night rises within the great outdoors. Planes, trains, and automobiles are no match for this Superman. How high will the fly to view the rising sun, bearing the mark of the man in the iron mask, with swingers that made Merlin into a gremlin of the Princess Bride? This took a wrong turn as my big fat Greek wedding singer became suspect zero, and their terms of endearment as Billy Matteson's April Fool's Day joker that the simple plan turned the prestige of Hoffa to a pirate of the Caribbean. We are split to be driven into the mouth of madness, which can be a saving grace in a never-ending American horror story. I hope you enjoyed this and tickled your funny bone. Enjoy and be safe.